Got it.
Hello and welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And we are back this week with such an inspiring story from a family who moved to New Zealand with no job, no plan, and was so flexible that they went from the North Island to the South Island to back to the North Island again. And it's just a fantastic story.
Yeah, and I feel a bit guilty on one of the little bits that you have to listen to.
Yes. Yeah. Will and Ira are longtime members of our NZ Ahead community. And I think we should just say, only fair to say before we jump into the episode, that we did not pay Will and Ira to say all the wonderful things they're just about to say about our community. We started the podcast and they gush about their experience with our community. And, you know, when you're listening to something, you think, oh no, it's going to sound like we've told them to say this, because I mean, we could have paid them $1 million and they couldn't have said it as well as they actually said it. But you need to know that this is their honest experience. They've been members of our community for a couple of years now, and they just adore the community and the community adore them. You're going to hear them talk about people like Ginger and Nikki and Ben and all those people. Actually, all three of those people that I've mentioned, we have done previous podcasts with them. So you can go back and find, I'll leave links to the descriptions of their podcast. But do you know what I love about this is they talk as if it's their family.
Yeah, and they couldn't do it without it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes me feel so good, is like, you know, creating something so good as a community like this for people who are moving to New Zealand, are already here. And just how it worked, how that networking just worked. And I just think you can't say more than that, really. It's just like, wow, it blows me away.
So we did think that we're going to have to come on here first and let you know, because we didn't want you sitting there thinking, oh, this is just a big con. Liz and Brian have got Will and Ira on to talk about their community.
Previous podcast people.
Yeah, because like I say, we did not know that they were going to say all the wonderful things. So the people that they're mentioning, all the names that they're mentioning, are members of our community. And of course, it wouldn't be right if we didn't say to you, if you would like to be part of that community and experience the love and the connection and the support and the resources that both Will and Ira talk about in the episode, then you can do that by going to our free 5-day video guide. And on day 5 of Life in New Zealand videos, you will be given details of how to join our beautiful, supportive, fabulous moving to New Zealand community. So to get those 5 videos, in case you are not familiar with this, and I'm sure you are by now, but Bri, how do people get those free 5-day videos?
It's www.nzahead.com/free. That's www.nzahead.com/free. And also in that community, they do mention these people as well, which are NZ Shores, which are immigration advisors. And they're actually in the community as well, so you can DM them as well when you're in there.
Yes. It couldn't have been better. No. It couldn't have been better. So sit back and listen to the story of a young, inspiring, determined couple with their little small girl. That sounds a bit wrong. I was going to say little small child. With their child making a life for themselves in New Zealand. You are going to absolutely love this episode. So sit back and enjoy the lovely Will and Ira.
Got it.
Will and Ira, welcome to the podcast. We are absolutely thrilled to have you with us here today.
Yay, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
We have waited a long time. We've watched your journey throughout you planning to come to New Zealand, throughout making it to New Zealand, and then more importantly, you two have just been all over both islands. You're just backward and forwards, and we absolutely love the flexibility, your adaptability, I think that's the word, of just making things happen. And that's what we want to talk to you about today. Your journey here to New Zealand, you've gone from one end of the country to the other end of the island in the South Island, and then now you're back again on the North Island. Can you just say, before we jump into why all that happened, who are you and why are you in New Zealand?
So Will and Ira McIntosh, we're from the States, the West Coast. Will's from California. I'm originally from Ukraine. I immigrated to the States in our early 20s. We met in Ukraine and lived in the States for almost 17 years. Yeah. And Will has lived in Ukraine. When we first met, he lived there for like 2 years. And I feel like that exposure has really, well, here I'm talking for you, but like really it broadened his horizons. Um, for someone who lives in the States, I feel like that's very unusual. So I feel like we started talking about an experience like this a few years ago and thinking, if we're going to move somewhere, it's going to be now, at this point of our lives. And yeah, so this is our very nutshell story.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good overview. Yeah, we'll get into the details. Yeah, when we had graduated recently, we thought, what do we want to do? Where do we want to go? And after spending some time in California and Oregon, we did realize we wanted something more like we had in Ukraine. And so that brought us to, we were thinking in English speaking country would make sense because my Russian's terrible. And then we were like, Australia, but everything wants to kill you. Like, what about New Zealand instead? And so, yeah, and then we looked into this Slack group and it's been wonderful for us. Yeah, and then that's kind of how that all started. But really the overall picture, we wanted a different work-life balance. Americans work hard and it's part of their DNA, our DNA. I fit under that. But we wanted to be able to have hobbies and be around people that had hobbies as well. And yeah, have a different work-life balance. And that's what brought us here.
So you're living in Portland before you moved to New Zealand, is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. And you have a little girl?
We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's 7, turning 8 this year.
Okay.
Her name is Vera, and she's a lot.
Wonderful.
Spirited.
She's a little Vera. I absolutely love the name Vera. I adore that name. So you are living in Portland with Vera and you've got this bug to travel, having already spent time in the Ukraine together and knowing what it's like to step outside a box. And you want a different life, a different adventure, and you choose New Zealand based on what? What was it about New Zealand that made you want to come here?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Was the work-life balance. Was we wanted something that is slower paced. We've heard about the quote, like air quotes, she'll be right culture. We wanted to be somewhere where people weren't so work obsessed. I don't know how else to trying to figure out the way I articulate this, but specifically in what my field is, which is software engineering. Yeah, they're just hyper focused on work, big commutes, and then the children will have like 3 or 4 extracurricular activities. Everything's just dialed up to 11, and we never really operated that way. We were more just, we valued sitting and talking and drinking tea and getting to know people. And that happened a lot in Ukraine, and that didn't happen a lot organically in the States.
Our friends in the States turned out to be most either from other countries or people who have traveled a lot or been exposed to other countries, other cultures, just that mutual understanding of like the US is not the world.
And may I ask how you got over to New Zealand? What visa did you use? Did you have a job? Did you come over as a student? How did that look?
We were both studying at Portland State University, so 6 years of university, and going from no schooling to getting my master's, and then graduating in June of 2024, so just recently. And before I had finished, Ira was like, I want to get my master's too, and so she joined in, got her master's in applied linguistics. I got mine in computer science. At that point, because we were graduating, we were also unemployed. And we thought this would be a prime opportunity to just wing it, go over to Auckland, give it a shot. There's a lot of tech in Auckland. Let's give it a whirl. Let's go on a visitor's visa. How long can we stay? We called New Zealand Shores. They've been great. We got advice from them. What can we do? And they said, you are allowed to job search with a visitor's visa. It's okay. Apparently they're able to do some magic behind the scenes. They did give us an extended visitor's visa. So we were able to stay in the country for upwards, I want to say 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. That would have been really hard. Job searching for 6 months with no income. That would have been kind of tough, but that was what we came on, and that's why we decided to come even without a job already lined up. Like if we were in the States, we're doing the job searching, got one in New Zealand, it kind of act as like a safety net, right? Or we're moving into a job. But we heard specifically for tech, it's such a bad market. We thought, okay, let's just arrive. We'll have a New Zealand-based address on our cover letter, our resume that would show our commitment to this. I'll have a New Zealand phone number. So we thought we would just dive right in and go for it, even though we didn't have the job lined up.
Very brave.
I was going to say that is very, very brave. That's admirable.
Or foolish, one of the.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, you don't try, you don't get, do you, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I love about you two. Throughout all of this, you have had this attitude. But anyway, we're going to come to that in a minute. So let's go back to you arriving in Auckland. First of all, I mean, how old was Vera when you came?
Oh, 7.
7.
Yeah.
She had just turned 7.
Yeah. And did you just have this attitude of like, well, it'll be fine. We'll just give it a go. And if it doesn't work out, we'll just go back. Was that the attitude you had? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah. We just, I think we're clueless and didn't know what to expect. Right. And just thinking, like this is.
The big part, though, was being on the same page, right? And we may have had this conversation before, like, what's your threshold? How long can you handle not finding work? And we both agreed that once this I think we decided a little bit before that. But once the 6-month visitor's visa is out and we still don't have work, that is the universe telling us to go someplace else, to figure it out. But we both agreed on that. We viewed it as like, yes, it would be an expensive, extended vacation. And we're okay with that sacrifice.
Yeah.
So when did you arrive in New Zealand?
July 27th. We know because our anniversary is July 28th. So it was just the day prior.
Our 17th anniversary, and we were here in Auckland.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. We decided to get an Airbnb, like a few weeks long, right? Yeah. So that way we can kind of, before we signed up for a longer term rental, to kind of get to know the area and job search and all that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. And did you have a house back in Portland, or were you just studying and living in rented?
We were renting. Yeah.
You were renting. Yeah. So at least you didn't have to worry about that side of it and what were you going to do with the house and stuff like that. So you get to Auckland, you get in an Airbnb, then what happens?
So when we first landed, we do have to give just so much gratitude to Ginger helping us out. We arrived at an Airbnb that was pretty musty. It was pretty moldy.
It was pretty bad.
It was where the sheets were wet. Like it wasn't like your standard New Zealand cold home. Like something was wrong. We opened up the door and it smelled like an old storage unit. And we stayed the night there. We all 3 had headaches when we woke up. We called Ginger and said, "Can you please?" She was living around the corner, so she grabbed her car, took a couple loads. Because we brought all of our stuff in luggage. We didn't bring a shipping container. We had 12 pieces of luggage that we brought with us. And
she was just like, "Oh, no big deal. I'll just take a couple trips." It's just like, oh my gosh.
She's like, "I'll drop immediately what I'm doing. I'll help you out. Come into my house while you look for a new Airbnb." She was phenomenal.
We could not have done it without her.
I just want to clarify, for those watching this and listening to this and you're thinking, who's Ginger? Ginger and Greg Connolly are also members of our private community. I did a podcast with Ginger about when her house was flooded, when they had all the...
Bit more damp than what you had, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit. Oh my gosh, she knows.
They are true Kiwis, true kindness. Oh, it's just beautiful. So I'm so glad that you had that experience with her as well. She's just gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely.
It was great. We used the Slack group to reach out to them and,
Yeah, we just, I texted and I was like, I don't want to be like this American coming in the first night, already something's wrong. It's like, I was like, is this normal, guys? And her and Nikki were like, no, this is not normal.
No.
So
I'm so glad that you sorted that out. So how long did you stay in Auckland before you started? How long did you keep looking for a job in Auckland?
We were there for a month And Will got a job offer within that month in Invercargill. It was somebody that he actually started talking to, ironically, even before we left. And then they had 2 interviews while we were in Auckland, remote, proceeded with the job offer, and we're like, where's Invercargill?
What was the job
Yeah.
role?
Software engineering. Yeah.
Right.
Which was part of the reason the job was so short, is that it was a software engineering job in computer science. Without getting too nerdy, just go with me here for a second. There's all sorts of branches you can go on. So learning to code is kind of like learning a language, but with that language, you could be a plumber, you could work on cars. So there is a specificity that comes to it. My specificity was in machine learning, teaching, language models how to learn. And
AI.
AI. Their specificity was web development, which is, it's just a different branch altogether. We thought there'd be more overlap in the job. And we both should have asked a little bit more questions during the interview, but that's why the employment was so short. We get there, we move everything, and we can get more into detail of that, but we move everything down there. And on day one, we realized the writing's on the wall. Like this isn't looking too good. My specificity and what I studied is different than what's required from the job here. And so no hard feelings or anything like that. It just, we both, the employer and I, should have looked into what my background was versus what the job requirements were. But yeah, that was the reason for the shorter brevity of it. But
I feel a bit bad on that, Will, because you reached out to me on a direct message on our community, and you said, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just go for it." Was it a good thing to do?
Oh, that's why.
it's Brian's fault.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I remember you messaging me, and I'm like, "Well, if you don't try it, you're never going to know." And you can move around, but yeah, apart from the financial side of things, hopefully it was good.
Yeah. It was it was hard. It was good. It was hard. But let's before, I think we should sorry, I kind of jumped ahead. Maybe we should wind the clock back a little bit and go through the actual travel down there. Might be.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of hopping around a little bit.
No, you're doing perfect.
All right. So we first started in Auckland. We had some friends of friends who lived also in the North Island, and they sold us their car for a pretty affordable price. It was great. And then we took that, shoved all of our luggage in the back, and
How did that fit? I don't know.
yeah, because even in that month in Auckland, we accumulated, just empty glass jars and just random stuff. And,
What's with you and glass jars?
I like glass jars. They're great. They're so handy.
They're very handy.
That's
very handy.
Yeah.
I like to take them down to the other side of the island with me when I have them.
Why not?
Right.
Move around. They're not traveling.
You never know when you're going to need them.
Exactly.
So you got this
Especially
car.
when you have all your belongings in the car with you.
Yeah.
Just a couple jars and they're thrown there.
So
Always good for putting peanuts in, eh?
carry on, Will. Carry on. So you got the car, you packed it all.
Yeah. So we packed it all in the back, and then we decided to take our time because we know that INZ, it was kind of warning, hey, for the skilled workers visa, INZ Immigration New Zealand, right? INZ is saying we don't have a whole lot of staffing, and skilled workers visas are taking a lot longer to process than normal. They take about 3 months to process after the job offer has been given. So that's a long time. So we thought, well, we'll just kind of take our time, go down the North and the South Islands, stop by a few places, see some of the people from Slack.
Yeah, we've never been to New Zealand before. This is our first time, and we didn't know. We kind of you'd think you know what to expect. You don't until you get here. And yeah, we watched, while we were still in Auckland, we watched the whole trilogy of Lord of the Rings with Vera. It was literally a marathon every night. We just watched an hour, because they're so long. But when we got to Hobbiton,
Wow.
best.
Rotorua.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it was a lot of, I feel like in that way we got to see that a lot of the country that most people that just come straight for the job, you come in and you just go, I'm assuming just you start grinding right away, right? Your job starts next week or whatever, you have to do all these things. And for us, we kind of were doing it backwards. We're having our vacation first. So I'd really recommend that. I mean, minus the circumstances, but it was really nice to see both islands. We took the ferry over. We met so many amazing people. We met so many people from Slack channel. It was like every city, we were like, okay, who's here? And it was so much fun. Like it made it so much more special than if we were just, driving, seeing things.
That's really good
on your own sort of thing. That's very true. When you first come to New Zealand, you feel very alone unless you've got, like you say, the people to reach out to in different cities and things.
Oh, absolutely. And different people's stories and their knowledge of their own city and how things are different. So yeah, it's just, you can't get that from just driving around for a day,
When we took the ferry down from the north to the South Island, we met a couple there, and they were fantastic. And Vera started petting the dogs, and that turned into this whole conversation. And we just started shooting the breeze, and they were like, "Why don't you come over for dinner?" And we're like, "Okay." And so we went over to their house in Blenheim, and we had fish and chips. And that was the first time we realized that fish and chips here are wrapped in paper, which totally makes sense. So
that's great.
They had the big dining room table and just opened up all the paper, and we just all dove in and ate our fish and chips. And they were like, "Hey, can you house sit for us in a few weeks?" And we were like, "This is a big commitment."
Yeah, but it was so great. Yeah,
great people. Yeah, it was super fun. So we, so to really highlight what you're saying, like throughout that trip, we met some just incredible people.
Yeah.
And then we arrived to Invercargill.
And then, right, before we get into your Invercargill bit, because I need to know about this. I've never been to Invercargill. I need to know.
Me neither.
Even though Brian told you to go down there, so it's all his fault. Did you just say don't?
Do you know what? We were in Dunedin visiting some friends down there. I think we're going to talk about them in a wee bit. But I went to a petrol station and I said to them, they said, "Oh, what are you up to today?" I said, "Oh, I'm driving to Invercargill." And he went, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I want to go and see it." He said, "Don't bother." He said, I'm from Invercargill. He said, "It's being rebuilt at the moment." He said, "It's not."
Oh, you were going during that time too. That even more so.
Like, wow, it would be, what, three years ago plus, wasn't it? Like,
so they were putting them all in.
Yeah, and I was just like, came back into the car and said, "We're not going to Invercargill today, Liz. We're going to go to, I don't know, I think we went to, I can't remember, Nugget Point, I think it was instead.
Anywhere else.
Yes, yeah.
But before we jump into you getting to Invercargill, I just want to say that I just think it's really inspirational and admirable that you guys are over here. You must be feeling so much. You arrive in Auckland with your little girl. You haven't got a job. You've got nowhere to live. The sheets are soaking wet. All right. Yes, you've got all the people in Slack, which I am so thankful for. Yeah. But still, you must have been inside thinking, what are we doing? What's going on? And even through that, you took the time to remember why you came to New Zealand in the first place and to embrace the slowness of it, the slow travel of just getting down there nice and easy and just appreciating, like the people that you're meeting, the fish and chips story, the cities that you're stopping in and taking your time to look around. I love that. Absolutely love it. And I think it's a big lesson to remember for everyone else as well, is because we get so caught up in like, get the job, get the house, get the kid, get in school. No. It's just like, hang on a minute. Don't forget why you came here in the first place. And you two are just a beautiful example of that. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that it really shines through. So, right, let's get to the bit about Invercargill then. What did you hate about it?
Well, before we do, I highly recommend, if you're going to take a drive down, go by Kaikoura. If you hit it on a day where there's no fog, it's otherworldly. It is fantastic. There's this beach. It's like a cobblestone beach, but then right behind it are snow-peaked mountains. And to see both at the same time is
And like blue water,
Yeah.
like just I know I know you've seen it, but like it was crazy. I mean, Vera was expecting like mermaids jumping out of their ears, just was crazy. Like
Yeah.
I just kept taking pictures. I'm like, I can't. And pictures don't do it justice here in New Zealand. That's what I wasn't ready for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
None of these filters make any sense.
Yeah.
So true.
So that clarity of
true.
light doesn't come out sometimes, does it? Sometimes
No.
it does, but not quite.
You got to be
Yeah,
here.
it doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
look the same. It's so
Well, I
crazy. The
think-
colors are so saturated here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
It
So
is.
Will, Invercargill, come on.
Oh boy, here we go. So the greatest things to do in Invercargill are
Drive out.
yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, actually, there are some spots that are really beautiful. In our little pocket of Invercargill, we had them all. One is the Queen's Park. It's pretty large. It's I think it's one of the largest parks
It's like
Ever?
it's more like a
in New Zealand.
destination. You can't, we keep saying like, oh, there's a park, and people are like, okay, whatever. No, it's like 5 kilometers around. It's
Mhm.
huge. I mean, there's got like 2 golf courses in there, and rose garden and aviary. I mean, anything you want. So it's kind of like you go and get lost for the day.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah, and Ira was really wise. When we were looking at long-term rentals, she's not anymore. I'm kidding. No, she's always very wise. But the long-term rental that we were selecting from, she picked one that was a little bit I don't want to say sticker price, but there's something without getting the details of it. There's some, I guess we can, I don't know. There was black visible mold in the garage.
well, but we didn't know that until we rented it. The reason I picked that rental is because it was across the street from the park.
Mhm.
And it was also the nicest house that I thought, layout wise worked. But all the other places in Invercargill are kind of like there's 3 or 4 big streets that go kind of around this huge park.
Yeah.
And the houses are straight up butting up against that huge big street that with lots of traffic, and you're hearing it all. And it's, all the places that we saw, and kind of like, I'm hearing all this traffic, and I would not let Vera outside the front yard, like it's just all this motion right outside. And this house was different. It was like in a different street that was away from the busy streets. And so we didn't realize how perfect that location was until we started living there. And after the job fell through and we just were both spiraling, that was one point of sanity that we could send Vera to school and just go walk in that park and not have to get in the car, not have to, like figure out where to go, just walk through the park and just, talk or whatever. It was so nice to have, and I cannot overstate how great it was
Mhm.
for both of our mental health.
Yeah, it was like a triangle where there was Vera's school and then the park and then our house, and we could walk to all three. And it was really nice. Vera doesn't do well with transitions, so into or out of the car. So being able to walk 5-7 minutes to school really helps. That was a big deal. The house, I was hesitant to go in because it did have black mold in the garage, and we did discover that after we had, signed the contract, and then I wanted to pull out, because that was concerning to me. But I'm glad we stayed because of the reasons Ira had mentioned. She really pushed, like, I want to stay. It's in the garage. It's away from us. They did some patchwork to fix it, but it needed some deep cleaning to really fix it. But the fact it was in the garage in the laundry room, we could just, it wasn't near us at all. And
It turned out, it's just, I think coming from the States and just hearing black mold in a rental that you haven't even lived in, that would automatically be a no. And, they claimed that they didn't know about it. They did. But either way, I feel like if we didn't travel through and we stayed in all these other Airbnbs throughout the country, I feel like we would have been a lot more unprepared for that rental. And
So was it really damp and moldy in
It
there?
wasn't.
No,
No, it's just the house itself was made in whatever 30s, 40s.
Mhm.
And then the addition, the garage was built in the 80s with all the cladding that was leaking and stuff. So that was nice that it was away from the house. That's what I was going to say. Um, when we first moved in, that was our biggest problem, right? The black mold in the garage. Oh my gosh, such a big deal, losing sleep over it. And then he lost his job a month later. And I remember sitting in a cafe a few weeks after that. He was job searching still, trying to figure out what to do. And I'm like, remember we were like freaking out about the garage mold? Like we forgot to think about that. We honestly didn't even know that apparently somebody had gone in and like fixed it with the owners, had arranged it. And we weren't home. Like they went from the outside. Anyway, like we didn't even know it was fixed and we didn't care because so many other things had happened. And we gained perspective on so many different levels that we were like, oh my gosh, we were freaking out about that and that was like our problem. And now look at us. Like,
Yeah, and it really didn't matter, you know.
no. How did you keep so you lost, how long were you working there before you lost your job, Will?
Yeah, so I was there for a month, and when on day 1 or 2, when the employer and I both realized I had a different background than what was needed for the job, we had a hint of that, but we thought there'd be more overlap, and it was quite a lot of disconnect. He realized that the amount of training that I would need is too much. They couldn't take me on as more of a junior role because there's only 3 full-time developers in the organization, and he's the CEO owner is one of them. So that boils it down to 2, and if I pull them aside and keep asking them questions, that's 50% of his production workforce. So needless to say, he just didn't have the resources to train me in the way that I, as a recent graduate, was going to need. A recent graduate with no production experience. So it's just, yeah, I was just going to need some more help. So he was as kind as he could be. He recognized that it was he recognized the sacrifices that we made to come down, and he recognized the cost. And he knew that this was going to be really difficult. But you know, it makes sense. It's a business, and he's got to make money. So pulled the plug, and that was
Halloween.
Yeah,
it was Halloween day. Yeah, it was when I was let go.
You are here because you love New Zealand, just like me and Brian. And me and Brian made it our reality of moving over here. We arrived in New Zealand in 2009 with 2 small children, and I tell you what, hardly any information to our name. We came over here with no resources, no contacts. We knew nothing. One night while we were sitting around the fire when we got to New Zealand, we said, wouldn't it be great if we made something for other people in the same situation as us that gave them everything they needed to know about moving to New Zealand? And that's just what we did. We started a community of people, of like-minded adventurers from all over the world who are making their dream of moving to New Zealand a reality. This community is made up of 400 beautiful souls, each one bringing their own story, their own needs, their own information to our community. And I just love it. I tell you, it's just the best community in the whole wide world. If you would like to be part of that community or get to know more about it, then you can take our free 5-day video guide that we offer. This is a video guide that Brian and I created, showing you some aspect of life in New Zealand every single day. There is nothing like this on the internet. You won't find it anywhere else. It's brilliant and it's unique and it's free. So sign up to those 5-day video guides, and on day 5, I'll give you more information about how you can join our beautiful New Zealand community. Sign up now by going to www.nzahead.com/free. That's www.nzahead.com/free. Get to day 5, see all about our community, and I hope to see you on the other side. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, it was Halloween day. Yeah, it was when I was let go. And I know that in a year from now, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, I'm really glad that this happened because it led to these chain of events. Right now, we're in still that grieving process where it is difficult, and I think it is compounded with a grieving process that every immigrant is going to go through. I think, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there is a little bit of a saying goodbye to the things that you had deemed were quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
Even driving on the different side of the road, simple things to more complex things and social interactions and slang that you use that no one else is really going to get. There is a migrant's grieving that kind of takes place. This, saying goodbye. For us, it was also added that a career that I was aiming for, I had to say goodbye to. That's because after I'd been let go, I was still looking for work, and through the hundreds of applications being put out, I got very few interviews. So that's the biggest problem. If I had dozens of interviews,
If you were just tanking them all.
if I was just blatantly lying on my resume and cover letter, I was getting just like dozens of interviews lined up, and I wasn't able to pass those interviews, then I would be able to look introspectively and say, what am I doing wrong? But the fact that the conversion from application to interview was so low. We kept trying different alterations of the cover letter and resumes. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can edit a few things. But such few interviews. I had, thankfully, they asked me to never say who they are, but these fantastic recruiters, they reached out to me personally. They call my cell phone or hit me up on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm not allowed to say this, but we like you, we like your background, we love your experience. We would hire you in a heartbeat, but we just can't afford it. Like, we can't afford to wait the 3 months it takes to process. We're going to have to go to the Kiwi. The reason that they gave the preface was that they need to show that they're fair, that none of those things are being taken into consideration. They're only going off of merit, right? But the truth is as an organization, to wait for 3 months to process I and Zs, they said, we're sorry. And they even added, like, you're going to have a really difficult time. Actually, speaking of that, I did have a few people that did warn me of this. One of them is Ben S. What's Ben's last name?
I don't know.
Yes,
okay.
We only know him as Ben. Yes, yeah.
Ben S. He's been on here, and also from the Slack group. Yeah, great guy. He did reach out to me when we were in Portland. He says, hey, just to let you know, without any work experience in tech, because that is his field, he says, you're going to have a really difficult time finding employment. And he says, I probably would suggest that you would stay in the States for a little bit, get some work experience, and then go over. And I said, I have a master's degree. What are you talking about? Ben. Turns out Ben was right. When I got fired, I actually messaged him. I was like, you were right.
Yes. I love you, Ben S.
Yes. Thanks.
Did in that time that you were there for that month, did you get like a work visa sorted out, and have you got now residency, or did it?
No, I wasn't there long enough. Yeah, right. That was the problem, is the timer was ticking too, so we've got New Zealand Shores, we're working with them, and they're saying, you've got to get work,
like 2 months, 6 weeks or something. And it was going into the holidays. This was November, and people were just kind of winding down the hiring and
print out resumes, walk to places, do whatever you can. But I kind of saw the writing on the wall because I had done a lot of interviews already before this, and
we finally saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Well, I thought, we need a backup plan, and I because we really want to stay in the country, and that backup plan is studying. Can I make this transition into teaching? Because the reason why teaching came up is that we were having a really difficult time, right? But Vera is in just like bliss. Like, she is having the time of her life. We've had some behavioral issues in the past in different schools in the States. And when we were here in New Zealand, rather than experiencing that, even proactively reaching out to the teacher and asking, how has Vera's behavior been in the classroom? And the teacher would say things like, oh, Vera's got a lot of energy, but we can manage it, and we're working with it and giving her some flexibility, and she's outdoors a lot because she loves to climb on things, and school starts at 9 instead of 8 or 7:30 in the States to beat traffic, and they have like a peer system where the older students take the younger ones into the classrooms and introduce them. And she comes home, and rather than being just completely drained and wanting screen time, she comes home and she tells us about her day, and she'll draw it out on a piece of paper. And we're like, what happened? Like, who are you, and what have you done with our daughter?
That's
So she wants
fantastic.
to-
Great news.
That is fantastic. Before we jump into your transition into studying for teaching, I just want to go back to Invercargill. I just want to clarify a few things. So you've been there for a month. You started your job, and within that month you lost that. You stayed there for a month, and then you lost the job. How long had you signed the house lease for, the rental house lease?
Yeah, that was scary too, right? Because that was something we don't deal with in the States. In the States, we give a down. You give your down deposit of 2 weeks, maybe a month.
Bond.
Yeah, your bond. Thank you. Yeah. And then if you are to break lease, which we've done in the States, you'll lose that, or you lose a percentage of that. And that's it. In New Zealand, and I don't know if the UK is the same way, but if you break the lease, you're still legally required to continue paying that rent all the way up until the contract is done. And that is not in the contract.
No.
We read it. There's nowhere in the contract where it
It just says if you break your lease, you may be liable up to 2 weeks of rent. We're like, oh, this is a better deal than the States is, And then when we say, oh, we got to move out, we've been there for 3 months, we're going to move, and they're like, oh, you're going to still need to pay the rent. We're like, what do you mean? We're not going to be here. Oh, that doesn't matter. You have to find somebody else to cover your lease, and basically not a sublease, but like a complete transfer over so that the property manager has to approve that next person as if they're, coming in, just renting this house. And so, yeah, we had a year lease, and we had to find somebody to, and at first I remember when we got the house, it was still winter, and that house had been on the market for months. And we were like, what's wrong? And, well, I don't know about if it was the mold thing, or if it's just, they were like, oh, like we just haven't had a lot of interest or something. And we're like, oh, so now we're thinking back and like, oh my gosh, like how are we going to find people if maybe the rental place, rental market in Invercargill is kind of sluggish or whatever. Well, I ended up getting an account on Trade Me and also posting it on Facebook. But we had so many people that were interested. I mean, literally like 2 people a day just coming to see the house and applying. And so we found somebody that was able to move in right away, and it was a perfect fit for them. And I was like, oh my gosh, finally some good news.
Yeah.
Something at least that we weren't have to, wasn't going to hang over our head.
Yeah, we thought we'd have to get the tenancy tribunal involved. We thought maybe we could use the mold as leverage. And
just the circumstances, like we had, we had no intention of leaving without the job, and so.
Yeah, and that went really, really smooth. Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting to know, and also a good lesson for other people, because as you say, I mean, that's normal to us coming from the UK. That's the same as the UK. But I never knew that about the US. I didn't know that that's not how it works. That's a really good, valuable lesson that you've just shared there for people watching.
Yes, it's interesting. Yeah, the in the US, it's just about money. It's expensive to break a lease, but it's not $25,000 expensive.
But so just going back, because I missed that, why did you want to leave Invercargill?
Oh, we didn't. We would have stayed.
You would have stayed.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So in order to study as an international student, you have to be on site. Yeah. So that meant we had to move to Massey University.
All right. So you had to go to Massey. You couldn't do it because Invercargill's got a university, hasn't it?
Not. So they have SIT, and it's known for their free. Well, no, you are correct. It is a polytechnical, so they do more trades. But if you wanted to, they don't have a teaching diploma there.
SIT. Did you say?
Yeah, SIT, Southern Institute of Technology. Yeah. So when I applied so I got let go, and I realized like the holidays are coming. I gotta figure out some type of a game plan. New Zealand Shores recommended teaching. I saw Ira's or Vera. That I don't know why we named Vera, very similar name to Ira, but whoopsies. It's another conversation. I noticed Vera was just having a great time. There's some magic in the academia there. So let's make that switch. So I started applying to different universities across the country. I did Canterbury, which is in Christchurch. I did Otago was one of the first ones because we knew Brian and Miley thought it'd be great. But I was let go on Halloween Day. Their cutoff time for enrollment was before then, so I didn't even have a chance. And I appealed. I was like, please, and they're like, no. So that was that. And then Canterbury said the same thing, but Massey's in Palmerston North was mid to early November.
November, right?
Yeah, so I'd had like a week to get all of my paperwork submitted and tossed it right in there, and that was great. So the timing of that worked out really well. So that was the primary reason that we went with Massey University is
It's the timing.
Yeah.
kind of had to have the timing.
And they were also the most responsive to all
That's
your
true.
queries. Everybody else just kind of didn't even acknowledge his documents or
And
anything.
just for the people who are from overseas, the New Zealand academic year finishes in December. So that's why in November, 1st of November is the cutoff date sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And starts in February. So yeah, they were really pushing the deadline there.
Yeah.
And his specific program is a 9-month program that doesn't really follow the regular schedule for schools. So they actually started in January.
Oh.
So this was a really short kind of period of time that he really got to get everything in. And then we had to jam boogie over here and show up to class. And
So guys, you seem to me, when I'm looking at you, you just seem so chilled. And I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, what are these guys on? Because I want some of that. I just want to, I know I keep going back to Invercargill, but I just want to go back because this kind of thing really intrigues me. So you come to New Zealand, you get a job offer, you're in Auckland and you're with your wet sheets, and then you get this job offer in Invercargill. You go down to Invercargill, you sign up for a lease for a year on a house that you're not entirely happy with, but you are because it's opposite the park and you're able to walk. And then you lose your job after a month and you're thinking, oh no, now we're going to go back to living off our savings, I presume. What stopped you from just going, do you know what? Sod it. I'm going home. I'm going back to US. I'm going back. What kept you going? What was it that kept
That's a good question.
Yeah, that you just kept that determination alive? What was it? Can you articulate that?
I think it was knowing that we had done everything because it was our dream, right? And we knew that we weren't going to do this again. We're not going to go back and then try again. Like, I feel like if we had left, that would have been it. And I think not knowing what this whole process would have entailed, like if we had known back in the States that this is what it was going to take, we wouldn't have come probably. Like, we wouldn't have known that we had it in us.
Yeah, that would be a hard decision to make.
And this is honestly one of the hardest things that we've done. It's don't be, misled by the chill. We've had our spiraling moments, but
during those spiraling moments this is where Brian and Miley come in. We've got to give them all the praise. They kept reminding us, just looking at the forest from the trees, stick with it. They did remind us that we would regret having left at that point, knowing that we could have potentially stayed. But even more than that, just being willing to just cry with us and just drink tea and
they've gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
They knew what it was like to leave everybody to immigrate. And they were also like a cool head outside of our situation, like they could come in and be like, oh, have you, thought about this, or what about this? And just having somebody to bounce off, or just be like, oh, this sucks or whatever. and they were there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we went to go see them, visit them, well, you know, because it's just 2.5 hours from Invercargill to Dunedin, and fell in love with Dunedin too, of course.
To elaborate on your question too, as we were looking into schools, we did realize that there's a chance it might not work out. As these universities were saying, no, sorry, you've reached the cutoff date. We did start talking with our friend in Boston, and we said, you know, hey, we might be
Yeah.
ready. We might need to get. So we started doing some job searching in Boston, and that was an option that we were considering, and we did talk about it. We said, what do you think about just going now? One of the benefits of going to Boston from Invercargill would be that it would save us a lot of money actually, because there's the cost of moving upwards, but then the international tuition fees are shockingly expensive, upwards to about 35,000 American. And so we knew we'd have to spend that. We knew that while studying, we're not going to be able to work full time. So we're going to be still pulling from the savings. So what do we want to do? Do we want to have our little nest egg? We had it because of my father passing, like, I don't know why I call him father, my dad. Anyway, my dad, he passed, like, and it sounds religious. My father, anyway. Yeah, he passed when Vera was 1. And it wasn't a big surprise. His health wasn't in, when he went, it was, you know, it was time. And so we started thinking like Boston versus becoming a teacher, like what's going to be the better choice? What would he want us to do with this inheritance that we have from him? Like what would he, well, you know, what would he be happy with? And yeah, sticking with it. I think he was happy with that decision. Looking at Vera and her experience here, knowing that we've got an emotional support from Brian and Miley, I think those are all contributing factors as to why we chose to stick with it. We were experiencing this slower pace of life while here. We enjoyed the hiking. We enjoyed just being present with people. And so I think that's when we both made the decision. Let's make that further sacrifice. Let's stick with it.
And there was a lot of time, like there was the not knowing which university was even going to be it, trying to plan for something that we didn't have concrete yet, not even knowing that his visa was going to go through because of some timing difference, because of the holidays. It all just got delayed, and so he had to start school without a visa. And
They let me audit.
It was, yeah, it was not conventional. And so we were the whole time, even while we were already here in Palmy, we're like, do we have anything concrete? Like, is there anything that we can, like, you know, hang a coat on? And
February 6th, 6 p.m. I got my student visa.
yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
How
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
That was where INZ was saying you need to get your student visa by February 6th. And so, yeah, the deadline was met.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Great.
Well, that just answers my
Yeah.
question, because I was going to say to you what visa you're on now and how are you staying. So you've got your student visa. How long does that allow you to stay in New Zealand for?
Actually, the exact duration of the schooling that you're able to pay for. It's
Okay.
connected to the tuition that you
Yeah.
can pay
So
for.
it's next, well, your school is 9 months. So
9
it's
months.
till next February is what is saying on the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a year, and then you get a job, and then you get another visa.
Yeah. One of the benefits, though, of becoming a teacher is that you immediately get residency, right? At least as of things are, from my understanding at the time of this recording, you get residency the moment you get a job. For secondary school, primary school, I guess, is more recently doing the same
they
thing.
changed that as well.
Yeah, but secondary, that's that's another factor too, is that you know, we'd be able to get residency right away. That seems like a really big win.
So to get this right, you started your course in January. It's now it's what is it, March now, isn't it? So basically, you've got 6 months to go, and then you've just got to pass what you've done, and then you'll be able to work.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been great. I like the school a lot. We've been learning a lot about Maori culture and how that connects into education.
Yeah.
And Ira just got a part-time job. It's really exciting for us.
At Massey, ironically.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow. So that means you can work here as well with that student visa?
Oh yeah. You mean Will can work?
No,
Or-
as in you yourself.
Yeah, I have a full no restrictions visa,
Right.
which is nice. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think you can work part-time.
I've been open work visa. Yeah, I'm able to work 20 hours a week, but
Yeah.
I can actually legally receive employment from the States, which is neat too on this
Hmm.
particular visa. I don't have the bandwidth to do that, but it could. Yeah.
So Ira, what visa have you got?
It's whatever comes with the student visa.
Okay,
Like
So-
smart
Got
partner
it.
of
Yes.
Yeah, so that allows you to work.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Mhm.
great.
And Vera is in school. She's loving the school that she's at, and
Yeah.
Yep.
and she's playing outside on all the things because she's got so much energy, and she's
Yep.
just. And I think as you were talking, I thought that alone, I think especially as parents, we always come second to our children's happiness, don't we? And when I asked you the question, what kept you going, I was thinking to myself, I was imagining your little girl coming home and just with all this energy and stories and happiness and just being, and like you say, talking to the teachers, and they're just so responsive. That alone as well, I would imagine, would just kept you topped up in the keep go. Let's just keep going and see where we go.
Yes.
I just want to just rewind and just remind people that Miley and Brian are part of our community. That's who you guys are talking about. We've also done interviews with Miley and Brian about Americans moving to New Zealand, and I think when we interviewed Brian, he was so vulnerable about the fact that he couldn't make friends. He was still working for his US company at the time, and he was having real problems connecting with people. So to fast forward now 3 years and hear that you four have been together and just have made those beautiful connections, honestly, it makes the hairs on my arms just stand up, because I just think, if only Brian had known that, that this is what was ahead for him and all this. Oh, it's just what you learn as you go, isn't it? These experiences. And I know that they feel like huge challenges at the time, and they are, but you're learning from them and you're growing from them and you're passing them on. And I just think it's really inspiring.
It is, because there's some of our original members, Miley and Brian down in Dunedin there. I mean, Miley's a nurse, and she, they are lovely people.
They are.
They really
are.
Yeah.
So helpful.
We're gonna see them. We're gonna see them this coming weekend. We're gonna meet up in Wellington.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Fantastic. That's brilliant. Put some pictures up and let us see it on Slack.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Fantastic.
And that Slack group has been absolutely worth it, because we have our friends and family in the States that we tell them, oh, we're going through this problem. And, and they always say the same thing, which is, oh, I'm really sorry. You want to come back? It's all well-meaning, right? But then when I talk to Brian and I'm texting him and I'm like, bro, I'm probably gonna have to liquidate our entire savings. And he's like, yeah, I had to do that too. It sucks, huh? And I'm like, whoa, you get it. Like, you get it. Like you're burning the ships. You understand that you've got this dream and you see the value in it and you're committed to it. Like you understand. And so it's on a whole, it's just a different level. You've got people that care on both sides, not to diminish family and friends in the States. They're fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But just to recognize that connection that you're going to get through people who have immigrated, specifically through that Slack group. It is, it's rejuvenating.
Yeah.
It's true what you say. They've gone through it before you, and your family don't know that because they've never done anything like that as such, do they? Like you say, it's not taking anything away from them, but it's so nice to be able to talk to someone. I remember Brian, when we were staying with him down in Dunedin, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do work and stuff so he could work for his American company, and you just think, wow, Yeah.
I just want
Not
people
easy.
to know as well that we didn't get you on here to just plug
Yeah,
up.
it's true.
We haven't paid you to say this.
I asked that before this whole thing. I was like, can I shamelessly plug the Slack group? Am I allowed to do that?
Of course you are.
So what's Palmy like? Palmerston North. Are you renting? What tell us a little bit about Palmerston North, how you feel about that?
You see, you got a wood burner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and it works.
And
Yeah,
we're
it's
so
good.
excited to use it.
Yeah.
It's warmer than Invercargill. I'll tell you that.
We
yeah.
got here, and that's the first thing we noticed. Oh, actually, you know what? Can I wind the clock back just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We told Brian and Miley, hey, we have to immigrate up to Massey. Immigrate. We immigrate. Double immigrate. Immigrate to the North Island. Yeah. We have to move up to the North Island. And he says, why don't you just study distance, remote? And it's we can't, like, we're not allowed to. From the visa standpoint, we can get in trouble. And he says, well, let me know when you're going. I'm gonna go in the car with you.
Oh.
And so I'm like, okay, so I need to like connect these. We made these little videos together on our trip up. I should stream them together and post them on the Slack group. But yeah, we're just being goofy and having just real talk and eating potato chips and crying into a bag of potato chips. No, I'm kidding. That was fun. But
it was great because while they were driving up to the North Island, we were with Miley staying for a couple of days so that we could fly over and meet them here. And yeah.
We took our time on the way down, but we realized because of when we were able to switch the contract, when we were able to move, when studies started, we had to just shoot right
we couldn't take that time back up. And we felt like, okay, we've done this. The weather is different now. It's not, so we're like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. But when we landed, that was the first thing we noticed is, wow, the weather is so much nicer in the North Island than it is in Invercargill.
We had missed most of the summer in Invercargill because it just never felt like summer there.
Did it
not that it wasn't, it's just so windy. And so some days that it gets so cold in the morning and then like it heats up during the day. It's like 20 degrees Celsius difference, so
we would drop what we were doing because the sun was out.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice weather. Let's go catch a couple hours in the park. We did. I did get to see the Southern Lights like a week before we left. It was that really bright one, like on the 2nd of January, I think, the night of 1st January. And I woke Vera up, and we walked outside. It was literally outside our front door. Just crazy. So we both stood there and she's like, oh my gosh, you could see it with the naked eye. Like it was that bright. It was really cool.
Oh, it's worth going down there and living down there for just that, isn't it?
Yes.
It's worth it for that.
We felt really privileged.
Yeah.
But,
so what about Palmerston North? Is Palmerston North, we haven't spent much time in Palmy. So is it good? Are you enjoying it?
So on our way down.
Go on, Ira. Spit it out.
I just feel like I've been talking a lot. I'm like, you go.
So when we drove down on the way to Wellington, we had stopped in Palmy, and that was the only place that we like almost got food poisoning on our whole journey. And we just didn't know where to go. So we stopped at it's called Memorial Park, which is a really nice playground with all the things.
Tightrope.
But besides that, we kind of just drove through and we're like, it's whatever,
Felt like Hamilton.
It does, doesn't it? Because there's not many New Zealand cities, or as you class it as a city, that are not on the ocean or the sea, is there? Yeah, it does feel a bit like Hamilton, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's landlocked and it's flat. So it just really doesn't feel like New Zealand in that way. Like there's no rolling hills or anything. And so we're like, meh. And so when we moved from Invercargill, we were getting the same kind of reaction when people, we told people that we're moving to Palmy, and it was the same reaction as when we told people we were moving to Invercargill. So we're like, we really didn't expect much. And then we moved here and we started exploring. They have this Esplanade, which is kind of the answer to the Queen's Park in Invercargill. And it just has like this really mini train that kids ride, and I guess adults ride too. They have their own aviary, they have their own park and everything. And so I was like, okay, so this is different, but kind of the same thing. And it's pretty close to us, not walking distance, but almost. They have their own, I feel like every New Zealand city has a splash,
Indoor
like
pool.
indoor pool,
Yeah.
like that whole thing, you know, like they call it the Lido here. Um, and the square, like the main square that, you know, the center of the
Canton
city
Square, yeah.
has events every week, every weekend. We went to Waitangi Day, we got to catch that. Um, and then I was like, oh, Palmy has a lot of things to offer so I think maybe I just had such a low expectation.
Yes.
The bar, Invercargill dropped the bar real low.
Yes,
Where Palmy was.
Palmy's brilliant. And that square is pretty impressive, isn't it, for a New Zealand sort of town? You know, it's got a nice bit of architecture around there. It's a big sort of
Got a
sunny
nice
square, isn't it?
theatre, a lovely theatre
Yes,
there.
yes. Yeah, we saw.
Nice. Yeah. So we haven't had, again, we were not really in the mood to explore much when, you know, by the time we got here and, you know, figuring things out and school and whatever. So I feel like now that we are like settling more, I got a job lined up. You've got your, you know, trying to figure out a schedule and then trying to figure out kind of normal things, you know, going out and meeting people and making friends and all that stuff, signing up for the PTA for school or whatever.
What's your
I
job?
feel like I got a job at Massey doing scheduling. I don't know what it actually entails yet, so I'm really excited about it though. It's a team that they schedule all the classes for all three campuses for Massey University, and they also line them up for in-person classes. They line them up with the auditoriums that they need. So with my background with, you know, being in college and teaching and kind of knowing you kind of need the right classroom for the right class, you know, I think it's gonna be really fun. So I'm excited
I
about
think
that.
so too. Yeah. And you'll meet people, and like you say, it's just a whole different chapter opening for you. It's real fun.
Massey's a really pretty campus
Oh my
too. It's got a
gosh,
lake,
yeah.
a pond there. It's a
Really?
really pretty campus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's like its own little city outside the city, kind of. Yeah.
The interesting thing with the drive from Wellington up to Palmerston North is that it really reminds me of that tiny little town that I was raised in San Luis Obispo, California. It's flat, but then there's these hills in the back, and they have the windmills on the hills. And you know, as I'm riding my bike, because I ride my bike from, I could drive if I wanted to, but it's actually faster to ride your bike. And you know, at 40, it's probably not a bad idea to get moving around as much as I can. But yeah, no, it's just soaking it in. It's pretty. It rains here, but it's for the most part really manageable. Unlike Invercargill,
It's like sideways rain.
it's really intense. But in Palmy, it's, you know, it's more of a soft drizzle, right? So it's really manageable. I mean, we're getting into the winter here soon, so we're not too sure what that's going to look like. But right now, we've been really happy with this transition.
Yeah, and that new road as well to Wellington as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've never known that without that. It was a bit of a nightmare before. But
I've heard that was there were people like having to take like roundabout roads and stuff. And
it took them about 10 years to build it. But
it's there now, isn't it? That's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
So
we stopped by Foxton too, which is nearby. Foxton's great. Love it's Foxton Beach. It's really neat.
Yeah.
There's some neat areas here.
There's some really pretty towns. And I think now that you are here and Ira's got a job and you're studying for the next 6 months, you're going to just be able to just relax and be able to do what you should have done when you were able to get what you thought it was going to happen when you first went down to Invercargill. This is your time to do that now. And I really, really think that you're going to come out of this and you will get a job as a teacher and your life will just continue in New Zealand and you will have these stories and you'll be one of those that say, oh, you want to hear what we had to go through? You know, everyone's got that kind of story, haven't they? And yours is very unique in the fact that I just love that you, like I said at the beginning, you didn't just give up. You didn't just stay in Auckland. You didn't just stay in Invercargill. You didn't give up. You kept going. And that's a real testament to you guys, just to how, you know, that you want to make it work. And you're the kind of people that New Zealand need. It really is. It's we need people like this that are just gritty, you know, like don't just go, yeah, I'm going home. Like, you know, it's you're digging your feet in and you've got grit. And I just love it. I really, really do. And Will,
Thanks,
I loved what you
Appreciate that.
said about the grieving thing. I'd love to, when you were talking, I thought, God, I'd love to do another podcast about this because you are so right.
It is 100%.
You are so right. And people underestimate that. You are giving up a lot, and it is grieving. You're bang on, you know, so that as well that you've taken on as a couple to just go through that process and keep getting knocked, and still you're doing it. Yeah. So you just need to give yourself a massive pat on the back, you guys.
You do.
You really do. And yeah, you really do. And thank you so much for sharing your story and for being such wonderful members of our community. You really are. You just
Thanks.
you're the two are right up there. You know, it's just you're always answering, always helping. And yeah, like I say, you're already true Kiwis. You really are. You really are. You belong in this country. And I can't wait to catch up with you again in future. Well, let's do it when you get your job. Once you've got your job as a teacher, I want you to come on and say, here we are.
And how does it feel? And do you still call the US or Ukraine home, or do you call New Zealand home now? I know it's not quite long enough, but
yeah, I feel like we still say like home for the US. I don't call Ukraine home. It's been too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, like our daughter still talks about the house that we lived in Oregon because that's all she's known. And she's already had 2 houses here. I mean, and she remembers all the Airbnbs. She remembers the house in Auckland. Like for her, it's just I'm glad the kids are resilient because she's lived in so many different places, right? But yeah, I think it's been good for her because of, you know, she loves her routine and she loves to be, you know, predictable and stuff. So the beginning of that trip down was really hard because she's like, I don't want to go in the car. I want to just sit here and chill. And we're like, we can't, you know, and there were things that we had to figure out how to do. But by the end of it, I think we got to Invercargill and we're like, all right, this is it. And she's like, I want to go back to traveling. I love traveling now. We're like, oh, okay, cool. Now she's like always happy to go in the car. So yeah.
So before we let you go, is there anything that I haven't asked you or Brian hasn't asked you, or you've got something that you want to share with anyone else that we didn't cover? I just always want to make sure we've got everything covered before we say goodbye.
I don't want to say, you know, to whoever's doing the same thing, be prepared for this. I don't want people to go through this.
That's true.
I want everything to go as smooth as everyone is expecting, but sometimes it's just not going to be a reality. And it is a different country. I mean, I remember it took us like a week just to figure out to flip the switches the right way. And we still mess them up sometimes. And yeah, it's a different country and a different side of the world, no matter where you're coming from. It's going to be an adjustment. So yeah, to be prepared for that. And I feel like you can only get prepared while being here, I guess. You can't get prepared and then be ready. You can't, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think being prepared is connecting and reaching out to us, reaching out to Brian and Miley over Slack and saying, hey, can we talk over Zoom? I know I still live in Texas or whatever. I still live in UK, but before we immigrate over, I'd love to pick your brain about what we should be prepared for. Having those connections is without those, we would have definitely gone back, hands down. But with them, we stayed here, and I'm glad we did. And because we've been through it, I say we, but it's primarily Ira who's doing a lot of this. So big praise to her. But because we've gone through this, we're so willing to help other people in their journey. And we want to, you know, take a break from what we're doing and be on for an hour and connect in whatever way we can. It's
And if we can
yeah.
save some heartache to someone by just, you don't know what you don't know, talking about something, and all of a sudden something comes up and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you need this for that or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really worth it. And, yeah.
And for that, we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our heart for sharing that, and for your kindness and your openness to, like you say, just to help other people. It's just, we're very, very lucky to have you with us and to know you and to have been on this journey with you. So thank you, Will and Ira. Thank you so much. And we look forward to connecting with you again in part 2. So thanks for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the story.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.
You pronounced your name really well the whole time. Too.
Yes, I am so impressed.
You did hear once when I went, Ira?
No, you guys are great.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, what a story.
And I'd love to, I'd love to do another one. I really would, because you're exactly right about the whole grief thing. And it's not something I don't think that's talked about enough,
Yeah. A friend of mine, so I was walking around chatting with him. His name's Graham. He's really into psychology in the States. He lives in California still. And I'm like, bro, I can't figure this out. I'm busy throughout my day, and I'm in the school, and they're giving me the schedule, and I keep having this dialogue in my head. I keep saying, yes, this is real. I'm in New Zealand. I'm a teacher. It's weird. I'm like trying to convince myself that this is actually happening and it's not a dream. And so I'm telling him, I'm like, why do I can't stop this dialogue from happening in my own head. Like, am I crazy? Like, what's going on? And he goes, you're grieving. You're going through the denial process, and through the, there's another phrase he used, bargaining. There's the bargaining process where, like, if I didn't go, I could change this, if I chose not to go to New Zealand, we'd still have our savings. If I chose, that was very enlightening. And I kind of want to take some time to unpack that and what that means. I'm no expert, so it would be interesting to hear from somebody who actually is also,
Yeah.
I know when I came over, it's similar type thing where, you're working, and again, I'm working now in a trade, or what I was then, and you're going, they don't do like this back at home. They don't do back at, they don't, that's the wrong way to do it. You've got to do it. And so it's that thing. And then you keep getting slapped in the face by the people as such. And they're going, you're not at home. You're here in New Zealand. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, but then it's like, and it is like a grieving process, isn't it? Because you have to just forget about what you learned there or what you've done there, because you're actually here. And it's such a good subject, that, because until you actually said it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so true.
I forgot to plug you guys. Sorry, we have been watching your videos, and in one of them you had mentioned, don't talk about home.
Yes,
and I always keep that in mind. Like, don't you want to say, well, in the States, and I've seen other immigrants say it a lot in school. Well, in China, well, in India, well, in and you can kind of see the heads. People get on their phones and they disconnect, and like they don't really want to hear it after the 20th time,
exactly.
That's where the whinging pom comes from, because realistically, all as it was at one time was just people from the UK and that's all they're talking about. It's like, well, it's not the same, and it was even 20, 30 years ago, it was probably even worse, because New Zealand was so much further back. But it's a hard thing that immigrants, and it's funny being an immigrant, isn't it? You're in a country, you're like, you're an immigrant. I know you did it. Ira.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
But you just think, when people look at you, you're not an immigrant. You go, I am. It's like, okay.
There's so much change. And this is why we always say, it's just, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And it's so frigging hard. It really is. It's hard to get your visa. It's hard to get your job. It's hard to get over here. And then it's hard to settle. And then it's hard to get into the life. It's just, it's not easy. And I think, I don't think a lot of people realize that. And that's why when you said, oh, can I talk about the hardships? It's like, yes, definitely. Because it is. You've got to be prepared. Otherwise, it's a big, massive waste of money and, energy and... Yeah.
Yeah, I just what we've just talked about as well. I know this won't go on YouTube as such, but I think we should share this little bit of conversation, just the little bit that we've just talked about, that grieving process. I think we should share that with the channel.
With our channel.
Yeah, I think we should just
if you're happy to do that.
because I think that's important. And I think we could do a live Zoom, the next live Zoom, and talk about that grieving type thing of what you've actually left behind,
Yeah, because I think that's important to do that, Will, because
and the bargaining side of it was good as well.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think then it just makes you be able to process it more, and you can, and if you know it's kind of coming, then you think, oh, okay, that this is normal, Because
you have to normalize it. That's really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
and then you can almost disassociate it from New Zealand. Like it's not New Zealand.
It's not New Zealand's fault, is it? It's something you're going through.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Because my biggest fear with our group is that there's someone sitting there thinking, oh God, everything is just so positive. Everything is just so
easy.
They make it look so easy. Like everyone's really happy, and I'm not. I'm having a really tough time. And you almost want to say on the group, if there's anyone out there in fact, I probably will, if there's anyone out there having a tough time, reach out, because you're not the only one. This is normal. And like Bryce said, this is why it's so important to be able to use that little snippet, because you've just summarized it brilliantly. So thank you.
No, that is true. Yeah.
Right, we will let you go, and thank you so much for being such the perfect guest. You're absolutely brilliant. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, privilege.
Thanks for being
when
there.
you reached out, it was cool. It's like, oh, okay, we get to go on the podcast.
Yes,
it's fun.
Well, you've made it now, then, Will, don't you? Hey,
that's it.
You're a true Kiwi now.
Bucket list check.
Yes.
Yes.
We will let you know when it goes out. I mean, we've got quite a queue at the moment, so it's looking like there's.
Maybe a month or so. Even though I said March.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we would love to grab coffee or something. We're not that far away from you.
Definitely.
You've been such a huge part of us. And even if you might not know that, you've been a huge part of us. So we would love to grab you coffee or dinner, or just to say thank you and hang out.
That'd be lovely. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. No, let's do that. But we won't go to the place you got food poisoning, eh?
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
We'll go to you.
We'll come to you.
Don't come to Palmerston. There's nothing here.
All right, well, let's keep in touch. Until then, have a fantastic day. And like I say, thanks so much for being so perfect. You're a massive asset to our community. Absolutely. You make it what it is. So thank you so much, both of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Okay. You go steady, all right?
See you soon.
now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. We have loved having you here with us.
If you love this week's show, please share this with your friends. Send it to anybody you know that wants to think about moving to New Zealand, and get on over here yourself.
And tell them how brilliant it is as well. And also, if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day video guide showing you what life is really like in New Zealand, then go over to the website and sign up. You are missing out. This is brilliant. Go over to www.nzahead/free and we will send you 5 days worth of videos about what life is like in New Zealand. You are going to love it. So one more time, that website that you need to sign up for the free 5-day guide is www.nzahead/free. So we're going to see you next week. Until then, have a great week and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, girl. Bye.
Bye.